control. Running wild, can't come down. My head is in the clouds. Gotta keep this feeling, keep on breathing, even if we're slipping away. So I close my eyes and lose myself now. Do it like it's only today. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. For a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. We got a party for a lifetime. No, we ain't stopping for the sunrise. No, we don't care about the bad nights. For a second I can feel like this. Make me feel like this. I'm on my last straw. I'm broken and I'm woken up. I'm done feeling your lies. I've had enough. I can't run your place in this faulty game. And all the words you speak mean nothing more to me. 'Cause let's start over now. Rewind. And I won't let you go. I need you by my side. I'm gone, so don't run from the truth. You're lost, now I know you played me just like a flute. I still can't believe you had me on a leash, cutting all my teeth with all the lies you breathe. 'Cause let's start over now. Rewind. And I won't let you go. I need you by my side. Let's take it slow. Where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow. you don't know how. You say we're taking on water, yeah, we're sinking now. You're looking all concerned, like we're gonna drown. But we both know how to swim, no worries as we'll fall now. Let's take it slow, where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow, who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. Let's take it slow. I drag you out your mind, and there are days I hate you, but baby, you're still mine. And then we have the best times, no matter what we do. And even when we don't, there's nobody I'd rather choose. Let's take it slow, where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow. Slow, where you go, I go too. And if you hit the bottom, I'm going down with you. Let's take it slow, who cares where we gotta be? You know you'll have a good time wherever you're with me. I'm on my last straw, I'm broken.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. Hope everyone is well. Thank you all. Today is May 18th, 2024, 2:25 p.m. on the East Coast of the United States. Happy Saturday. And I did see someone actually, I think maybe Rach. Today is National Armed Forces Day. So we need to always, always, always thank the ones who fought, died, and served. Thank someone today for their service. So yeah. And the East End, yes. I got my loop on again. There we go. Give them two. Why not? Right? Thank you. Thank you all. Appreciate your time. Pearls attached to the microphone because I'm extra. Everyone knows it. All three of your children are military. That's wonderful. It's the best. I mean, we really are not free without the ones who fought for us. It's also 44 years since Mount St. Helens blew her top. That was blew the side out. She literally blew the side out. Hello, Smiley. Hey, Cassie. Thank you so much. Thank you all. Lot going on in the Sebastian Rogers case. It is an absolute circus, right? Circus. And as sad as it is, there is so many, it seems, in this case that is more, in my opinion, concerned about themselves. And we have to get back to Sebastian. We have people, okay, so you want to go look, then go look. But why do we have to be fixing cars, right? Why do we have to be fixing cars? Why? I mean, it's just getting ridiculous at this point. And it feels like, they said Tony, now he's like, well, I'm interested in national, reporters, as they're saying. Right, C-Star? We all got to fix our own damn car. Fix your own car. It's got to be fixed either way. Do you think that law enforcement would check into each family member's background if Sebastian was sent there? Was sent where, Holly? Like sent to Katie's mother's? Is that what you mean? What do you mean fixing cars? There's you'll have to look at my live last night on Hey Sweet Tea. I mean, there is this so-called dog handler saying she needs $2,800 to get her diesel truck fixed, so she can go out to Sebastian, search for Sebastian. Yet she has charges for pew-pewing. Allegedly, is it a minor? And like 5 back surgeries, 2 knee replacements. You know what I mean? It's just too much. And respectfully, I don't think she, or really anyone else, could offer better services than what has already been offered, given, donated, their time, their energy, their efforts, finding Sebastian already. This is a different dog handler. This is a different dog handler. Not that Nina. No, it's a different Nina. It's a different Nina. Tony said law enforcement isn't talking to Seth, yet Robin Rogers posts that she had a long chat with TBI. Do Seth and Robin not speak? Tony calls Robin unhinged. This is a cash grab. Definitely something she should look into. I don't know. I mean, Justin, how are you going to search if disabled with 3 back surgeries? What? Well, that's exactly what and she is disabled. Like, if you get a disability check, but you're able to search what? You're able to search the Tennessee mountains? What? No. Yeah, different dog handler. There is obviously, in this case, there have been multiple dog handlers. Seth has went through a lot of people, right? Drive a truck. Yeah, drive a truck to another state. But she doesn't have to report GoFundMe donations as income. No, because you don't have to report you don't have, I don't know if you don't have to claim gifts, right? You don't have to pay taxes on it. Rather, it seems that Seth is surrounding himself with grifters who are using the case as his own agenda. I know, and I'll be honest with you, like, I hope Seth can finally see that he is his own best advocate for Sebastian. He doesn't necessarily need anyone. He is enough. He's enough. And that's all that he needs, is to be himself. And that's it. Maybe she's just a distractant. Well, it kind of makes you wonder if someone is inserting characters in here to be a distraction. I mean, I'm sure Chris and Katie are absolutely loving this right now because no eyes are on them right now, right? We're all sitting over here talking about this guy that made up literally a story that he did a video.
Texas is going to get pounded with hail today. Just bam, 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 bam.
So if you like the weather like I do, I mean, I advise you to go follow this dude, man. He just cracked me up. I found him from Dr. Tim Reed. I watch a lot of weather videos and tornado stuff, and I love the weather. And this dude right here just cracks me up every time, man.
You can't hear
My
him.
original 100K followers, man. Because y'all watched my stuff before. Go to this. This is hilarious.
Texas is.
He made this video, but yesterday he made this video.
I just want to come
For those
on
of
here
y'all don't know.
before any lives or anything like that, and I'm sure a couple people might say something about this, but I am a man. When I make a mistake, I'll come here and say it. Now, I had the opportunity to have the major of the head guy over the criminal investigations unit, Tim Bailey, had the opportunity to talk to him today. And what I will tell you is I made a very, very crucial mistake when misspeaking about the camera footage
You didn't
that they
misspeak.
have and all the footage that they have gathered.
Let's
They
make
have
it clear.
not seen Sebastian past the date of the 26th that he went missing. This is my fault for saying.
That is not a mistake. You outright lied about it. You made it in no uncertain terms about what you meant. About what you told Tony, what Tony absolutely took and just took like that. Like, you would think being Seth's manager or whatever he's called for him, you would think that he would be a little more careful in giving and putting information out, if you ask me. Oh, thank you so much, Orange Wedge. Thank you, my love. Appreciate that. Let me try to find something here. Bear with me. I apologize. Orange Wedge. You're right. Gemini lady, thank you for 2 months, my dear. Thank you. I appreciate you. Lab Mama, welcome, my love. Appreciate your support. Thank you. School's out. Guess where I'm going to be camping at? Where? Tell us, Blue Jeans. Thank you for 1 line. Where are you going to be camping out? School's out almost here, and I'll have some more time as well. Tammy, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. You know what happens? You know what happens when someone gifts 5 memberships, right? We have to do an application process.
This is a Brooklyn-bound 2 express train. The next stop is Fulton Street.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Here we go.
Giving to the lesser fight. My body aches to be satisfied. My weakness comes and goes. My weakness comes and goes.
Thank you so much, Tammy, for gifting 5 memberships. Really do appreciate it. Thank you so much for your support. It means a lot. Thank you. And for those of you that received a gift from Tammy, please thank her. She made you in green. She got you a set of pearls, and pearls look good on you. So make sure you please thank our beloved Tammy. Appreciate that so much, my dear. Candy Lee, member for 4 months. Thank you, sweetheart. Late but listening. Do we need a late slip? Candy Lee. Candy Lee to the office, please. Candy Lee to the office. I'm just kidding. Just joking. Thank you, my dear. Appreciate you. Maybe she's just willing to try to help give her credit. This lady that needs the good person offered to help with her own problems with her back. Well, it's I mean, I understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but when you have a disability, you are unable, you are disabled, right? Disable to do the physical task at hand, right? I mean, I appreciate that, you know, go help and stuff like that, but it is a very physical job to go and, you know, climb the Appalachian Mountains, hills, mountains, valleys, and do all of that. So, you know, that's, you know, I mean, I don't know anything about her. She, you know, like I said, she may be a very nice person overall, but make, yeah, exactly. So, you know, when you're disabled, I just don't, I'm not really sure. And you've had, you know, 4 or 5 or 3 or 10 back surgeries and knee replacements, you know, I mean, I
From me
hope
making
she
an
feels
understanding
better.
after talking to him that when we were talking and was talking about all the camera footage, and I had asked the question, he was simply stating, no, they have gathered every bit of footage they could from all the cameras that they could, and including the one where, you know, it was said that, you know, he was in the area. They went to those locations and was, you know, where they could get camera footage and got those. I thought that he said that, or took it as a way of like,
Patty.
oh no, yeah. So the day that we have footage that he has seen past that date. Cindy will be able to explain this a lot better. She also talked to him. There's a lot of things, man, that I can say. But first and foremost, I want to apologize to Gator. I don't do that stuff. I'm not a crime talk. I'm going to make a
Right here.
mistake. And I've always said this on every one of my videos. Check my information. Do your own research.
The thing is, this is the thing, check your information. No, we couldn't check that information. It was impossible to check that information. You can't check that information because nobody told us the information that he was putting out. How can I check that information? You just gave us something that nobody could get for the last 81 days. Not even the father of Sebastian. So how can I check something that they've said that there's nothing there to check? That's the whole point.
And you find out. And unfortunately, I, you know, trying to be helpful. It would be something that would be very bad in the sense of like where it got out to, in the fact that it put hopes out there that were false, and making Seth believe that, you know, that his son had been seen past that date of the 26th. That I am truly sorry for. And when talking to Tim, Tim was very, very nice, very positive. He said, you know, one of the main reasons why he did not, you know, that they don't like doing press releases every day, like in every week or anything, is because, in all honesty, he doesn't want to deliver nothing burgers. He don't want to get Seth and the family's hopes up. There's a lot more to this I can say that you can't. I can't.
Didn't want to give the family's hopes up, but what did he do? What did Tony say that night? He said Seth was having the best day after that information. Okay, I see. Thank you.
Put into words correctly, because I don't think I'm the person that should be doing this, right? This should come from Tony's.
But you put this on yourself. Tony said that you were working together.
Cindy, people that are credible. I went up there, absolutely, and Tim did tell me that David in our conversation was recorded, which is great to know. So you should be able to get that information, right? But first and foremost, I wanted to come on here without going on anybody's lives and tell you, hey, I made a big fucking mistake on a key detail
Not a mistake.
point when it come to if Sebastian Rogers was seen on the 26th or, you know, after the 26th. And that is my fault. I'm a man of integrity, and when I make a mistake, I will happily own up to that mistake. I'm sure I'll get ridiculed and dragged all over the place, but at the end of the day, it ain't going to stop me from doing the preparations for planning for a search team to come and do what I got to do to take part and to be able to bring Sebastian home. Now, do that what you will. I will tell you this: Miss Cindy will have her live later. She's phenomenal, and I am so thankful to have a friend in Cindy who was able, when I talked to her today, hey man, call Tim Bailey too. You get what you hear, and you tell me what you hear, and stuff like that. That way, if there's anything that I might have miscommunicated, she has the correct facts on that. And I am super happy to have somebody like her, because again, I'm not an investigator. I'm just a guy from Hendersonville that posts stuff, and this case took a part. It took a big part of me, and it means a lot to me. That being said, moving forward, rule number one: Stephen is not an investigator. Leave that to the people that do it. I wanted answers, and you know, I found out from Tim today that they are absolutely talking to media and stuff, though. You know, it's just maybe it's not what people want to hear, that there's nothing to be said right now.
Maybe it's not what people want to hear. There's nothing to be said right now. Well, obviously, there's nothing to be said because they haven't said anything. But you tried to feed false answers. And one thing I wish he would have spoke about in this is, what about the call to Sebastian, or the call to Sebastian's grandmother? What about those? I mean, where did he get that from? I see you. I did not get an email. Someone just emailed me, hey Justin, love your show. Tony actually said on his TikTok that he gets all his information from TikTokers. What a joke. I feel sorry for Seth and Katie, whose child is missing. Kind regards. Oh, I don't believe him either. I don't believe him either, because there is and has been no evidence, zero, zilch, nada, nothing, of Sebastian leaving his home. There's no evidence. Whoops, hold on one second. There's no evidence that he walked out his door other than him not being there. But that could be a number of reasons, right? He could have been taken out, which in my opinion, he absolutely, in my opinion, was taken out. Now, you may think he walked out. Feel how you feel, because none of us know. None of us know. Stephen was the only one out of the whole crew I found to be even 10% authentic. But I don't know. I have 2 ex-husbands. I'm not a good judge of characters. Well, you don't have 5, Anon. So, you know, you're ahead of the game, right? So, I'll be honest with you. I actually think this guy right here is probably overall a good person, but I think even good people do shitty things sometimes, and they get caught up in whatever. I think, in my opinion, he's probably struggled with some substances. And listen, I'm 11 years, 5 months clean. So I know it when I think but anyway, I just feel that, and I think he got ahead of himself. I think he was getting some attention, and he wanted to put some information out there that made him look like he was getting stuff done and gave him attention. But it was a very self-seeking, self-motivated reason, because disinformation causes so much more harm to Sebastian's case. Again, not an opinion. An opinion is different. Putting allegations out as factual is different than an opinion. You can have an opinion that Seth is guilty, Katie's guilty, or suspicious, rather. We don't, Chris is suspicious. And as long as you say that's my opinion, because based upon what I know, that I don't believe Sebastian would run out of the house barefooted in the middle of a night in February, because the kids don't just disappear. In my opinion, or allegedly, is different. People don't take that as a fact. But when you say, hey, I just went down to the police office, they told me that Sebastian was seen on cameras after midnight on the 26th, and he talked to his grandmother the previous day, and then Chris's mom was seen down at a store, and thinking that Sebastian may have gotten the car with Chris's mom and then might have taken him to Katie's mom's house. That's not an opinion. That's not an opinion. And listen, I think Chris is deplorable, the way he speaks to women and treats people, and the way he did Sebastian, right? But I don't think anybody should lie on someone, right? You shouldn't directly lie on someone. Not Chris, not Katie, not Seth, not Katie's mom, even Chris's mother, right? Because then it just becomes the circus. How do you purchase a membership? Tammy, if you are in the Justin for All, I don't have memberships over there at the moment. It's on Clutch Them Pearls channel. Mods in the J for A, if you can put a link for Clutch Them Pearls, they can come over. That would be great. Pine Needle, thank you so much, my dear. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Listen to last night's Sweet Tea on 1.75 on my walk this morning. You sound so stinking cute when you laugh or sing on 1.75. Oh, I'm glad somebody thinks so. So that's craziness. That's craziness. I don't know. What is the other channel for? They're both, well, this is the Clutch Them Pearls is my kind of like my true crime monetized channel right now. My other channel should be up in a week, 10 days, anywhere from a week to 2 weeks. And then I'll be back on J for A, mostly with true crime. So Justin and everybody, hope wonderful. Yeah. I can't believe Seth has brought these scumbags into the search for his son. Yeah, I don't know where, the question is like how, thank you, Morph, appreciate you. I don't know how this got this bad. So we learned that Tony actually has been in true crime longer than we thought. He was actually in the Idaho 4 case, went to Idaho, has a picture with Brian Enton, and in that photo, Brian Enton looks freaked out. It's so bizarre. It's such a bizarre photo. It is such a bizarre photo. Tammy, thank you so much, my dear. Welcome, my friend. Welcome to membership. You're now a Pearl. And pearls look good on you, my dear. They look really good on you. Thank you so much, my friend. Do appreciate it. We do have the best family here. We certainly do. We absolutely do. My concerns is only Sebastian and where he could be. First of all, I just want to applaud for that. Yes, little good. Sebastian, if you're listening, please find someone you trust and get them help. You contact law enforcement. You are not in trouble. Yeah, it's totally off right now. Everything is off. Idaho is way out of Tony's geolocation. It really is. I actually, hold on. I have a photo I can show y'all. Let me just send this to my email real quick. I'll show you. I don't have the one with him with Brian Enton, but I have the one with him in front of the Moscow house, which is a clip about another freak in Sebastian's case. Ooh, I haven't seen that. Let me. Bear with me, y'all, 1 second. Okay, let me just wait a second while that's emailing. It's taking forever. Exactly, me. Go back to the people that seen him last. And the person, there's one person we absolutely know that was in that home other than Sebastian, and that is Katie. That is Katie. And Katie needs to be the one talking.
Snacks, because, he's 15 and snacks. Snacks, because, he's 15 and snacks. snacks because, he's 15 and snacks.
Katie needs to be the one talking. And out of all of the people, thank you, Monique. Good to see you, hon. Out of all the people in this case, Katie is the quietest. Think about that a moment. Think about that a moment. Seth wasn't even close around Sebastian he was working at the time. Chris says he was 3.5 hours away. He's the one that made the 911 call on a three-way, which is another odd thing in itself, right? Another odd thing in itself. But why is Katie so quiet? And people's like, well, I would be quiet too if I, because everything she says is twisted. Well, it's not twisted if you're consistent and it makes sense, number one. And number two, put the information out. Who gives a flying freak what anybody thinks? It's about finding your son. That's what it's about, finding your son. Tony Mathis in Moscow, Idaho, January 12th, 2023. A little footage from my trip to Moscow, Idaho on Sunday. If you are following this case, this will all make sense to you. So glad they caught this dirt bag. I agree. I'm so glad they caught that dirt bag as well. Yeah, Seth isn't involved. Not at all. It's not even, to me, it's like, in my opinion, it's just not even, I mean, he was at work for 9 hours in a prison, right? He was in a prison when Sebastian went missing, which has cameras all around you, right? Blue Eyes, thank you, babies. Appreciate you. Welcome. Y'all, please welcome Blue Eyes here. Please welcome Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes. Pearls look good on you. You are now a pearl. This case turned so feral on YouTube that a lot of us locals straight up walk away from the true crime community. Jen, it's very toxic. But to be honest with you, you think YouTube is bad. Have you seen TikTok? Have you seen TikTok? It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. So, in my opinion, Tony has been trying to get in this true crime for a while, which he said that he's been following JLR for a long time. And that just kind of stuck out to me. I'm thinking, was he watching us when we were like me, JLR, Betty, Molly, Olivia? Was he watching us when we were in Tennessee, Summer Wells, right? Was he watching us then? Don't know, but it sounds like he was. Pam says the fact Katie stays so quiet gives me hope that she gave him to someone who was willing to take care of her autistic son to keep him from Seth. Does she have any Navy friends? I don't think someone from the, I really don't think someone from the Navy would do that. I don't know. I mean, it's possible, but I don't think it's very probable. she could have, in my personal opinion, feel how you feel. But I think someone snapped in that house and an accident happened. That's what I feel. An accident happened like that. Yes, he supposedly was in a Friday the 13th movie and the dog handler that is coming wants someone to foot the bill. That was a Dago, was on Dagos and on SGT Friday, Ya News Network. That's crazy. And that's right. Exactly, Smile. That's a lot of people willing to risk their freedom. I don't think that anybody is going to be willing to risk their freedom just because Katie, wanted to keep him away from Seth. But you see, I still don't think she wanted to keep him away from Seth, because she's still going to want to see her son. Right? She's still going to want to see her son. And by taking, I'm talking about the theory we're talking, by taking Sebastian away from Seth, living with Seth, well, that takes Sebastian away from her seeing Sebastian as well. And I think Katie would want to see her son in normal circumstances. So that's why I personally believe there was an accident, someone snapped, someone lost their cool, and they did something that was irreversible. Because a normal accident, if you have a normal accident, right? If you have a normal accident that, oh, Connie, I hope your wrist is feeling better. If there's a normal accident, right? He fell down the stairs, or whatever. Accidents happen. But it has to be an accident where she, meaning Katie, or anyone in that house that we don't know, but I'm just saying, in my opinion, it has to be an accident to where it could get them in trouble. They could go to prison for the rest of their life, right? And again, too much medicine. Absolutely. Sebastian could have been wired, too much stimulation from the entire week, right? He had a very busy weekend, just ate, come home. They had been traveling all weekend, and she could have been tired. And she said, you know what? It's time for his medicine. He's not been sleeping or whatever, gave him more. Also, she could have, people have alleged that maybe even a friend would, perhaps come over and she didn't want him to see that, or, just wanted him to be asleep so she could do whatever she wanted to do, or drink or whatever. Hey, Whistle, there's two types of people following his case. Those that followed Summer's case and aren't surprised by this, and new people that didn't. We have been through this once already. Yeah. I don't know. Now, there have been channels that have alleged that Chris and Katie are actually selling the house. I believe the house is in Chris's mother's name, if I'm correct. Let me know, chat. And she is a realtor. So if they sell that house to me, if they sell that house, I am 100%, in my opinion, not looking anywhere else. Why the hell would you sell your house if that was the last place your child was? Why in the hell? House is in their name. Okay. Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Yeah, I can take some phone calls if anybody. You can call in, or you can also text this number if you have something that wants to be shown, or information, a tip, anything. Not like a tip about like where Sebastian is. I want to make that clear. That always goes to 1-800-TBI find. I'm just saying, like, other stuff. I think the medication angle is very plausible, but one thing keeps sticking out. Sebastian might question why his dose is different. Perhaps. I just think Sebastian was getting older. I think it was challenging, which is what teenagers do. If you have teenagers, or you've ever had a teenager, you know what it's like, right? Teenagers are difficult. And I think, they're going from that kid phase to the adult phase, and they're somewhere in the middle at that time. And they think they know it all at that point, but they're still kids. So I think maybe he was pushing back. And remember, Sebastian was very, very high functioning, right? He did have a chromosome deletion, but his friends said that he was just normal like anybody else. The more I thought about it last night, I came to the conclusion certain YouTube creators, Chris and Katie, SF Investigates, and other set this all up. Tony is a plant to destroy Seth's credibility. You really, Elisa, you think that? I mean, that would be definitely crazy. They need to go back to the construction site and check the mud, quicksand, and mud. I think they did. I think they dug down there, and I think by now, he would have surfaced. Let me correct myself. Soldier Girl says there is evidence that Sebastian was with his mom on February 26th, was in contact with his grandmother on. There is evidence of Sebastian was with his grandmom on February 26th, was in contact with his grandmother when his mother said the day he disappeared. Nope. Yeah. No evidence of that. No evidence of that. And that's the thing that the guy did not even address, because he knows that it was complete BS. My son has severe autism. He takes Risperdal, is that how you do it? And clonidine. We have to crush it up and give it to him in a syringe. If that's how she does it, then giving him would be more easy. Okay. Yeah. Clonidine is it's a sedative. It can be used for blood pressure. I'm not a doctor, so but it can be used for blood pressure. It can be used for nerves. It has many different off-label uses. It's a very old drug. Um, it will make you sleepy. It lowers the blood pressure as well. I don't see how an overdose could have been accidental because she was familiar with her meds, with his meds and dosage. Plus, she was the one running him all over the place, which might have been too much activity. And that's the thing, right? She could have given him more because they said that he did not sleep a lot, right? That he didn't sleep a lot, much at all. So, did she want him to sleep longer? Was he extra wired? And I just don't know. I don't know. But I do believe there is something to that thud that she says. I do believe something happened with Sebastian. She said she heard a thud. Now, maybe she was, she heard a thud. For instance, maybe gave him too much medicine. She heard a thud and she said, "Bubba, are you okay in there?" And nobody answered. And she went in there, that's just speculating. Miss Michelle says this was planned, in her opinion. More meds so she could be taken out of the house. I mean, anything is possible. Why would you worry about your job that someone helped you get? Who's worried about their job? Juarez. What do you think about the landfill search, Justin? I think that very early on in this investigation, there was that landfill search, and they don't search for anyone living in a landfill. I'll say that. They don't search for anyone living in a landfill. I mean, at this point, it's not so much a search as it would be a recovery for those that are looking in the woods, right? It's not a search. It technically is, but it is actually a recovery, because he would, if he got out on his own, he would not have been able to take care of himself, withstand the elements, have no food, no clothing, no shoes. Well, he had clothing on, but over time. I have a relative who took Respitor as a child. Bad reaction. Sees it up in there. Oh wow. Clutch them pearls.
Hi, Justin.
Hey dear.
I've been putting a whole this
Oh, okay. There we go. All right, we're good now. Sorry, guys.
Okay.
All right, start over. Start
And
over.
I called TBI. I got a hold of somebody about 5 o'clock Denver, Colorado time. And the lady I talked to said there is no way that some random person can come in and ask about a case because it would compromise the case. They're not giving out any information on Sebastian to anybody, not even Chris, not even Katie, not the grandma, not Seth, not whatever, Tony, not this crab tree guy, nobody. They're not giving out any information on what's going on and what they're doing
Right.
and how they're getting their leads. So that guy is full of more BS than a bull is. Another thing, this circus has to stop. We got a mom that's out here acting like her kid ain't missing. We got a stepdad out here just being totally disrespectful to anybody and everybody. We got scammers out here using the dad. And I'm sorry I'm saying this, but it's true. I sit here and watch it. Doing all this stuff to a GoFund to get a lady that's on probation in Texas and was told that she cannot leave the state of Texas for any reason.
Yeah. Hey, I just got some information and I'm gonna tell about this. Okay, honey. So thank you so much for calling.
Okay.
I definitely agree.
No problem.
Thank you, my love. Bye-bye.
Uh-huh.
All right. So someone just emailed me this photo and said, look, no lie, I had the unfortunate pleasure of meeting her back in 2022 during the Lena Sidar case. She stated so many rumors and caused so much havoc. At that time, she only had a bunch of theft and back check charges, I guess. You cannot have a felony and have a 401c. The judge on her pew charge specifically stated she is not allowed around children. Between you and I, me and only, here is the proof. I met her. I was actually speaking with the judge every single day of the weeks, or I was actually speaking with her every single day of the week, not anymore. Oh, sorry, I did not know you wanted me not show this. I apologize. Is it okay if I show this? Sorry. Sorry. I didn't read it. I'm so sorry. Didn't read it. I thought you wanted me to show it. I'm sorry. Hey, cuddly. Please forgive me. I thought that's why you sent it. Is she Middle Eastern? I think she's yeah. Jury, scratch that. Scratch that. I didn't put your name out, but I see you put the okay. Sorry. I feel really bad now. Move to strike. Yeah. I thought that's why she sent it to me. Who's talking to the mods like that? Yeah, you be respectful to the mods, please. We're all respectful here. So, I apologize, dear. I'll email you back. I'm so sorry. I thought you wanted me to show that. So, yeah. Okay. Nina, and I just got something else. All right. Now there is this. Making sure I can show this. Hey Kelly, what's up?
Hey, Justin. Oh my gosh, it's such a pleasure to speak with you.
How are you doing?
I'm fantastic, Justin. I'm calling from Ontario in Canada.
Oh, I love
And
Ontario.
I have a few thoughts on this. And I've been watching you for a long time. And I think that they did make it home that night.
I do too.
I think the only time you ever use the word stud, the only time I've ever heard that word used is when a body hits the floor.
Yep.
That's the only time. I've had a friend of mine pass away, and he died. Exactly how his mother described it. I heard a thud. You don't use that word. That's a body hitting the floor.
Yeah. Well. Yeah,
So this is like,
the question is why? Like, why did?
right? Okay, they got home. Okay,
Uh-huh.
they got home. He's hyperactive, and I believe that they got into a physical altercation.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that it happened somewhere between the time they got home and 9 o'clock.
Uh-huh.
I believe that she didn't physically injure him during the she did injure him during the altercation, but he was physically okay as far as she's concerned. He went to his room and he died from that altercation.
You know, I thought of she could have, or someone
She hit him in the head.
could have hit him in the head.
head.
Yes, and then he went to sleep, or he went in there, and she heard the thud. Yeah.
He passed away. He was not in that house long enough for any smell of decomp.
No,
I'm
not at
a
all.
former palliative care. I'm a former palliative care nurse, and I truly believe that he wasn't in the house long enough for any decomp to begin. I believe.
Thank you for saying that, because I argue with people all the time on that. I mean,
No,
I'm not a dog expert, but I did volunteer for hospice for a long time. I've worked in funeral homes, so
I've signed 1,500 death certificates.
Yeah.
Plus,
Wow.
1,500 plus. I know what a dead body smells like. I know when decomp hits.
Yeah.
You know, working in long-term care, we don't have a morgue. We have a certain time to have a body picked up.
Right.
Before it starts to decomp.
Yeah.
I believe that she put him in a trash bin and wheeled him to a location outside of that home, and somebody picked him up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe that whole time period between 9 o'clock and 5 in the morning really can't be accounted for. It really, you know, his location cannot be accounted for.
Right.
So, you know, she calls him and says, I really messed up. We had a fight. We got into a physical altercation. I went in and he's deceased.
Right.
Oh my God, Katie, you got to get him out of the house. Oh my God, Katie. I think Chris maybe didn't have anything to do with it until after the fact.
Mm-hmm.
But let's face it, he's sitting in a camper while Katie and Sebastian are living in his $800,000 house or whatever, and he can't go back to it.
Right.
How much resentment would that build up? And now Katie's going to lose the gravy train.
Well, you know, Chris himself let out a very interesting comment, and he said, when he was fired up, he said that Sebastian thought he was going to get me out of that house.
Exactly. And he was resentful. He resented Sebastian. I mean, really, he was looking forward to taking care of Sebastian for the rest of his life in some form.
Right.
I don't think Sebastian would ever reach an age of maturity where he could actually function as an adult without supervision. I'm not being, derogatory or negative. I took care of
Sorry, go ahead.
7 special needs kids for years.
Right.
I've had autistic children in my home, and that's what I did, to stay home with my kids.
Yeah.
But the thing is he was always going to be responsible in some way for Sebastian for the rest of their lives. So, if they had Sebastian, there would be no, where's Sebastian seat on the motorcycle?
Yes. Exactly.
Do you know what I mean? And and the distancing speech. I watched a very interesting commentary last night where they call Sebastian and not by his name. And I didn't know that was considered distancing speech. You're distancing yourself from the personal of that child.
Sure. Yeah.
If I may say one thing, I'd like to give a big shout out to Seth. However, I think, Seth, you need to wipe for your son the slate clean. Get rid of.
You're breaking up, my dear.
Oh, sorry, one. Get rid of all the jokers.
Yeah.
Get rid of all these clowns.
Yep.
That are trying to. They're leeches. They're trying to leech the life out of you and your family.
I agree.
They are blood-sucking. They are blood-sucking, money-sucking hounds. And Tony, if you hear this, do Seth a favor. Leave him alone.
I agree.
Take your searcher, take all your criminals, and just please leave. Leave this family to properly search without interjecting and grifting. And you know what? If I had the money, maybe I'd be down in Tennessee on my own dime.
Absolutely. Hey, dear, I'm getting some information in, so I'm going to jump off here. Thank you so much for calling.
I love you, Justin, and you are the most beautiful man in the world. I love your skin, and I just got some Korean washcloths.
Oh, good. You're going to love them. You're going to love them.
Oh, I will.
All right.
Love you, Justin.
Love you
Have
too,
a
honey.
great day.
Thank you for. Bye-bye. Wonderful caller. Wonderful caller. All right, guys, we got a little bit of breaking news here. Got this just in. All right, we got this video just in.
Said it several times, apparently in a live, and it's not good enough. So I thought I posted a video. So for everybody that's watching the new videos today, I guess, that don't really click on anything but watch the FIPs, which I don't blame you. I do the same thing. I scroll. So if you see this, look, I would advise just watch my video where I explain what happened, how I put myself in a position that I should not have been in, giving false hope to the Rogers family and Katie and Chris and them. I wanted answers just as a personal thing. And then I talked to Tony and Seth, and when I found that out, I was like, oh crap, I need to share that with Tony. Well, Tony would do that, therefore it blew everything out of proportion.
No, not. Hold on.
I wanted answers just as a personal thing. And then I talked to Tony and Seth, and when I found that out, I was like, oh crap.
When you found that out, you didn't find nothing out. That's the whole thing. You said you found something out.
Well, Tony would do that, therefore it blew everything out of proportion. I can't say enough how sorry I am for putting myself in something I have no business in. As far as, I'm not an investigator, I'm not a reporter. I was just looking for answers. We were sitting there talking. I explained how that worked. We were talking about the camera footage, and then the last known time Sebastian was saw. And I took all that and misinterpreted it for what it was. That being said, I would make a statement that said that he was seen after the date that he was posted missing.
That is not the case. He was not. There is no video evidence or video footage of him after the date that he had went missing. And that's that. I could say a million times how sorry I am. You know, people are going to be people. They're people. And, you know, I know where my heart is at the end of the day. I know what I'm doing. And I'll tell you this, I'll continue to fly my drone and do what I got to do on that end. But I'm going to tell you, I'm not going to interject myself ever to give an information out because I am not an investigator. I don't know how people do it, to be honest. Because there's a lot that goes into that and make sure everything's facts. You know, Tim Bailey was super awesome when he called me yesterday, which is the major over the criminal division. I talked to him for a little bit. Cindy talked to him for a little bit. And, you know, and at the end of the day, I misrepresented some stuff, and I'm doing my best to be a man.
It's not stuff. This is a human being. This is a child.
To my word and say, hey, I fucked up. I made a mistake.
30 minutes ago.
One that should have never even been made. And, you know, and I see the comments like, what are they doing even talking to you? You know, I can't answer that part really. I know that they knew that I talked to Tony.
Listen, you can go there and they will talk to anybody. They'll talk to anybody. They won't tell you nothing, but they'll talk to anybody. You call the TBI. I've talked to the TBI many, many times. You call the TBI. They are the nicest people. Very nice, very respectful, will answer you the best of their ability. Give this guy a break. For what? Lying? For what? Lying and said that he had information that was the farthest from the truth?
And to Seth through Tony. I don't want to say make this confused because I don't talk to Seth. I talk to Seth always through Tony. I've spoke to Seth on the phone in a 3-way call. Other than that, as far as like direct contact with Seth, no. You know, and for everybody that just keeps hounding me about you need to apologize. You need to apologize. I have. I don't know how much more y'all want, really. And I'm gonna be straightforward with y'all. Hey man, I learned a valuable lesson, and I'm gonna say Tim Bailey, the major from the sheriff's department, taught me one of the best ones, which is the opinion thing. I don't think a lot of us think about this, right? We say things and we say, hey, you know, this is my opinion, you know, don't blah, blah, blah. And, you know, in all honesty, that has a way to hurt them too. These are families that are behind these missing children. And that's the last thing I wanted to do was be any part of that. And I was. I put myself in a position that was stupid. And at the end of the day, I don't want anybody to ever think that law enforcement is not doing their job, because they absolutely are. And Tim Bailey, you know, he talks to media outlets, he talks to News Channel 5, he talks to everybody. And I'm seeing people kind of attack Nick Barris at the same time. Why? He posted stuff that was true, man. He talked, I'm almost guaranteed he talked to Major Tim Bailey. And he said exactly what it was. There is no new evidence of Sebastian in video footage. Okay? Fact number one. The sheriff's department has no recollection, nor do they see text messages from the grandmother and Sebastian. It's not there. He put out facts. You know, and, you know, I don't know if Nick will see this, Nick Barris. Hey, man, I appreciate everything you do. I don't. Everybody's like, oh, you know, he put the pictures out back to back. No, man, that was, I mean, but he is an investigative news person. Like, that's what he does, man. Like, he put 2 articles out and they were kind of back to back, but hell, man, everybody took it and ran with it. You know what I'm saying? I even made a video about, hey, it's not what it seems. You know, at the end of the day, I know where my lane is. I'm going to continue to fly my drone, look for Sebastian. Right now I'm doing yard work, honestly. Got my daughter this weekend, but you know, the other thing I want to address is this Speedo picture. I don't know who, I don't remember being in a Speedo. If it's me, that's funny.
I just got to be honest. I'm not even embarrassed about it if it's me. I just think it's fucking hilarious. And honestly, if it's Photoshop, wow. I mean, holler at me, man, because you got a gift to design. So I don't know. People are taking shit too personal when it comes to that, man. I laugh at stuff like that, and I find it hilarious, man. Again, what I don't find hilarious is me representing Sebastian and the family, and them not getting the facts. Instead, I was able to put something out there that wasn't true, and that's my fault, solely my fault. And I sincerely apologize to people that watch me, and most of all to the family, Chris, Katie, and Seth. And at the end, that's all I can do, guys. Anyways, have a great day.
Oh God, sorry, I was muted. I was saying you'd think you would take the hayseed out of his mouth before he would speak. Rach, what's up?
Hi, Justin. How are you, lovely?
Good. How are you, dear?
Good. Thank you for asking, as always. And I love your shirt.
Thank you.
Hey, this guy, I'm just like, I'm so sorry I had like an ugly tone and an ugly voice yesterday when I called in, but I was beside myself.
No, you're fine.
And I'm like, really want to get
I've said it.
uglier now with all this nonsense.
Yeah,
Several times.
it's nonsense.
It's not good enough.
Oh, it is. It's absolutely turned into a circus with these people. So yesterday I was thinking, and one of the chat buddies that you put on screen brought up the fact of possibly, Tony running interference. That's crossed my mind. And if it hasn't been done, I'm questioning Tony's last name, because I don't look into this other than, bouncing between you and a couple other channels. But I was wondering if there's any job history out there on a job board, a resume, a LinkedIn type of site of Tony, because allegedly, it might be tied to oil service, I'm not sure, but he specifically was allegedly in crane sales. And I thought about it a couple of crane sales.
Yeah. He said that. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if he's ever crossed paths with, Chris being an operator.
If he was what?
If Tony has ever crossed paths with Chris Proudfoot being a crane operator, since Tony is allegedly in crane sales.
He says no. He says he's sold directly to like companies. Like that's who he sells to.
Okay, so I just wonder, and sometimes, salesmen do visit job sites just to upsell.
Sure.
So I don't know, it might be a long shot, but that crossed my mind. And then going back, I know yesterday you and I spoke about, Sebastian's psychoeducational testing, the Myers-Briggs, the personality test, the DM, 5, all the things that they do to assess the children for learning disabilities, and the DSM-5 for personality as well. They usually test them jointly, and they update every single year.
the Klonopin or whatever medication that Sebastian was on, when I'm assuming Katie signed off on those files or the IEP meetings or getting the school psychologist or the district. It's usually through the district they send out a psychologist. She signed off for medical release for. And I know when I did it for my daughter, when she was on ADD meds, every time that I gave her a new one, I would have to update it with the IEP team, the office. All those should have been housed, one, in the office at his school, and two, with the IEP team. One, because the office has to be aware if there's a medical emergency, what type of medication the children are on, or young adults.
Right.
So going back to that, I'm not trying to be a weirdo, but you have my 5,000 number. And, if Seth ever needs somebody or needs to be put in touch with the guy that I know that writes educational policy for the state of Tennessee, that did my daughter's exams, I would fully pass that information along with him, however it may be. But looking back in that file, number one, it will tell the dosage and when they get down to that detail of the medication that Sebastian was on. Even at home, you have to disclose that. Katie also, it'll give a good snapshot into her if she was ducking and diving and fully disclosing the issues within the home all the way back to California, because it goes back to these children back to preschool. That's how far they look back to understand the kids. So, those things like medication, the dosing, things like that, that's come up. I know the dog handler, Jules, the legitimate dog handler that has the actual foundation, she had brought that up, and that was one of the reasons that she wanted to go into the house, and I had questioned that as well, or meet with the Proud Street, because the fact of the matter is, if he had a prescription and the correct dosing of that, and it was administered at the correct time, which they're highly controlled substances, that would have given a snapshot into, one, if Sebastian was being over-medicated, and so on and so forth. So I really think a lot of it lies in the records that have been kept or improperly kept on Sebastian, because, I just wanted your feeling. You obviously dealt with hospice and things of that nature, and people probably obviously being medicated in the last state of life. What do you think your odds are at placing Sebastian on a medication to put him to sleep, a sleep aid, prescription, that he would be out of that house voluntarily on his own and tracing through the woods with no trace?
None.
Yeah.
Almost none. Almost zero. I get it. People sleepwalk. They drive like on Ambien and all of that, right? But there is also a level of consciousness while we're sleepwalking, right? It's not consciousness, but it's a subconscious that people can still drive to the store and get something, you know what I mean? And they don't even know that they're doing it, but they drove, right?
I totally agree.
I mean, have you ever been driving and I guess you just zone out and it's an hour drive and you just got there? You know what I mean? It's like,
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. And I will tell you, my poor grandmother, bless her soul, yeah, she was on Ambien. She had, beginning stages of dementia and could not sleep. So, and the doctor said she was still able to drive, and she was fully driving. She'd taken it at night, but got into a car accident, and that was the end of her driving. Thank goodness it was only a little fender bender. She drove until she was 83 and worked till she was 79.
Wow.
And, she could not absolutely tell you what happened, but she knew she had been in an accident.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's like an automatic pilot. You know, I mean, I was driving the other day and I was like, I don't remember even like, like, and I was like, I guess I was just on autopilot. I guess I was just so deep in thought, but your mind is weaving through traffic and, turning the signal on and everything else. So, um, you,
I agree. Or it's alien.
perhaps, but uh, I
I'm
I just
kidding.
I just don't think. First of all, how long are you going to sleep? And second of all, um, what wakes us up, like if we are in that state, is usually something that's uncomfortable or loud, right?
Correct.
So Sebastian would have, in my opinion, woken up rather quickly after his feet touching the cold ground, right?
I
Or
agree,
or
especially
his
with his
or,
sensory issues.
yes, or the rocks poking at his feet or whatever. So he would wake up rather quickly. Something loud or something uncomfortable wakes us up as human beings.
I agree. You know what struck me as odd, Justin?
What?
They have that builder grade, it's like an aggregate concrete pour outside of their house. And if anybody has ever stepped on that, it's extremely uncomfortable. So with his sensory issues, I was like, number one, I was like, he's not walking through wet grass. Number two, if he went out his window, he's not stepping on the mulch that Katie described.
Bingo.
And number three, that aggregate pour of that kind of pebbly texture, it's so uncomfortable.
Yes.
So just there's too many coincidences. People say, oh, you can be a conspiracy theorist. You can, guess that something's wrong. You want YouTube content, unlike the clout chasers.
There would be nothing
not the
I
fact.
would love more than for Sebastian and Summer to be found today. Both of
I
them.
agree. My right hand is up with you.
Please, because there is so many kids to talk about. There is always someone to talk about. Trust. It's crazy. It's crazy.
It breaks my heart. I have, a lot of kids around me because I've always taught my daughter, you accept somebody. I grew up with my cousin. He's 20 years my senior, but he functions at a second grade level. So he's in his late 60s now.
Mm-hmm.
But we all have our challenges and differences. It might show, it might not show. We're not perfect. And we need to give people a little bit of grace and be kind to these children. I mean, it breaks my heart what Sebastian's gone through allegedly.
Yeah.
So
I don't understand someone whipping an autistic child with an instrument.
I don't either, and I shared with you, my mom went that route with me.
Yeah,
and
same.
I am in my late 40s, and still to this day, I have a hard time forgiving. Sebastian was forever changed by that incident.
Yeah, it traumatizes
I fully believe
you.
that in my heart.
Yeah.
I fully believe that in your heart. But these people making a circus out of this is disgusting. I went back and re-listened to Tony this morning, and he quote unquote said he had new information.
Yep, he sure did.
So he needs to be fired. I mean, quite truthfully, I think us, even on the call-in, you describing your theories, we've come up with better concrete answers if we had the tools to look into them. Seth, his attorney, especially Seth, no one will advocate for your child like you will.
Yes. I don't even think he needs anybody. Like I said, I think he advocates just fine for himself. I mean, he says some things sometimes, but It
I
is what it is.
agree.
I
I
mean,
totally agree. I think,
like I say, I
yeah,
mean, yeah, I give them, I try to give anyone grace saying something off the cuff every once in a while, especially uh not knowing where your kid is, because nobody's going to be like I said, a peach. You know what I mean? While your kid's missing, but
yeah, I absolutely do. I think any parent, if we put ourselves in Seth's shoes, number one, I really sympathize with them because I know I went through all that process with a child having a learning disability. It probably was not to the degree that Sebastian had with the chromosomal deletion, his autism and his ADD, but I think on some level, if you have a child that's needs-based in any capacity, number one, my heart went out to the guy. I mean, like, good God, I need the friends, the family that I have that have autism diagnosis, they're all very different, but there's a lot of similarity.
yes,
So that, and then him going out, him being number one, a corrections officer, night shift is extremely hard on them or anybody that works graveyard or overnight
sure,
shift. And him being in that high stress environment of a jailer, I have Ellie in my family. It's not a fun job. It's not a cakewalk. And then for him to have a missing son, physically out there looking for his son, and then the mental wear of not knowing where your child is, that's horrific.
it
I mean,
is.
the guy needs to be afforded every grace, nuance of compassion that we can muster.
Yeah, but he's
So
got to get away from these. He's got to get away from these people. He's got to get away. Got to.
I agree. I mean, right now it's like, with the call-ins, you'd be a better PR person than what he has right now, because all the guy's doing is creating an absolute circus without telling Seth, like, go look for this fact,
Spinning
look
it.
in this file, go to this expert. This expert can help you because of X, Y, Z. Now, hopefully his lawyer has all those experts in his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
But it took me years to gather these resources in Tennessee. I was originally from California and moved here with my child.
Right.
And it took me years, it took me a year and a half to move to Tennessee to find the doctor that I told you wrote educational policy for the state. And also does, the aversion therapy for the state for offenders, which he says they could never be
Yeah.
rehabilitated, which we agree upon. But, it took years to find that. And I think if anything, Seth should be put with agencies, people that are like-minded, that can actually give him resources to have concrete, tangible things to help find Sebastian or look in his past to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, I agree.
Not this craziness.
Exactly. Well, thank you so much, calling, Rach. I appreciate you as always.
Okay, have a lovely weekend. I love you, Justin.
Love you too, honey. Thank you for calling.
Okay, bye, sweetheart.
Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye. That is Rach. She's all very informative. Very informative. The thud could have been in the bathroom, in my opinion. Very informative. Why do you think Sebastian was saving money in secret? Even Katie said that they were. I mean, I don't think he. Listen, Sebastian could not take care of himself like for a long period of time. He just couldn't. I mean, he just couldn't. I wish Seth had a good spokesperson. Me too. Me too. This is the mirroring. Yeah. I wanted to show y'all something. Yeah, Terry Lynn have been searching from day one and still is today, yet nobody gives that good woman credit. I agree, 1-800. I absolutely agree. So someone sent me this. I had it up on the screen a second ago, but I want you search fundraisers GoFundMe emergency fund Tony Mathis $800 raised. Oh, thank you, Auntie Ree. Thank you so much, my dear. What a wonderful compliment. That's very sweet. Thank you, dear. And then please help bring Caleb Harris home, Tony Mathis. I mean, I don't have a problem with, as long, well, okay. The Caleb Harris thing, is this going to the family? Hold on, is this going to the family? Please tell me this is going to the family. Lord, please. Lord, please. It says, bye, Tony Mathis. This is just a screenshot, so I don't know. Search rescue. This is the one for Nina. But that, to be fair, that had been going on for quite a while. Today said, Tony said he is a friend and co-worker of Caleb's dad. I agree, Trixie. Only the parent's name. Why it doesn't look good. Justin, the wording of it is odd. It says beneficiary is the father. Wow. Hey, Justin, do you know if they searched the areas that were damaged by the tornado? Yes. Yes, they did search that. They did. Sure did. Mm-hmm. They surely did. Wow. Yeah, I don't like, I mean, why it should be in absolutely the parents or family members. Yeah, and that's what Mohawk remembered. I was mentioning something. The wording of it is odd, saying beneficiary of the father. I don't know. This stuff just doesn't feel kosher to me. I don't get the kosherness. Don't get it, y'all. Guys, if y'all have not hit the thumbs up yet, I would greatly appreciate it if you would hit that thumbs up. Help spread the word. Share this on your social media. Even better, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. And hit that notification bell. Also, if you're on J4A, we are also on Clutch Them Pearls, and we have another channel called Hey Sweet Tea. I want to show you guys this. I'm sure most of you have seen it, but I want to talk about it because this photo Chris pointed out, and none of us noticed it until Chris pointed this out. And this picture is, it's, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. This one is worth at least 10,000, in my opinion. It says, in my opinion, everything we need to know. They are trying to get that story mirroring. Watch this.
Right, just 30 seconds. Don't move it. This is what they call mirroring.
Because look, we're on a limited time schedule here. I wish that I could break down every single piece of every single thing that has been said, and I will fill Dr. Gary in much more as this case continues. This won't be the last time that we discuss this.
We probably need a part 2.
Okay, but stop right there before you. Right, just 30 seconds. Don't move it.
Oh, what's in her hand?
This is what they call mirroring.
It looks like, I think it might be a battery pack to her mic. I'm pretty sure it's a battery pack instead of her putting it back here. And it's like kind of like wireless headphones. You know how you put them in your little magnet thingy and charge them? They have the microphones like that, and it's got it's the transmitter, and you just plug your mic in it. It's like a wireless mic. I think that's what it might be. Can't promise, but
He is very controlling. The wife is mirroring the husband. She is not an independent thinker. He is dictating the entire conversation here, and she is going to mirror everything he does. Look at the hand motions, look at their heads. They're both looking down. They both have their hands in front, and they're both making a point. But
Val, listen, anybody with a brain and logic, and just logic. Hey, your son is missing. Oh, well, what are you doing to help find him? Nothing. Oh, that's strange. Oh, are you at home? No, I'm 3.5 hours away. Oh, why? I'm helping my husband stay for work. Oh, well, what time did he go missing? Well, at 9 o'clock, he went to bed. 10 o'clock, I heard a thud. Oh, well, did you check on him? No, I just made up 3 different stories and said, here's one of them. Bubba, did you fall out of bed? No, ma'am. Oh, well, did you check on him any that night? No, I was talking to my husband on the phone, studying for college, and what else did she say? Sleeping at the same time. Oh, well, that's strange. Well, when you woke up the next morning, what did you do? Did you check on him? Got him up for school? Yeah, and he wasn't there. So I went in to the kitchen to see if he was there making him breakfast, because sometimes he does that. Oh, but isn't your bedroom, like, don't you walk through the kitchen to get to his room? Yeah. Okay. So, did you call 911? No, I called my controlling husband first. He's been married 5 times, and which was 3.5 hours away. And I said, I can't find him. So then I drive around for a little bit, and he calls 911 on 3-way, and I don't talk at all to the 911. Oh, okay. My husband said, get back to the house because they're on their way, which I should have known that in the first place because I was on the phone on 3-way. But I didn't know that they were coming because I really wasn't on the phone, in my opinion. Oh, well, did he pack anything? No. Oh, well, what kind of shoes was he wearing? Oh, he didn't wear shoes. Oh, it was quite chilly outside. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I know you work for a security company, so I'm sure you definitely have him on camera. Oh, no. No. We don't do those things in our house. No. Oh. Well, I'm sure the neighbors got him on camera. Of course. I mean, you live in a $600,000 home. I mean, and live in a really nice neighborhood. I'm sure the neighbors have to have him on camera. No. Oh. Okay. You get my point? Anyone with a brain and a brain stem that sparks knows something is not right here. You know what I mean? So this stinks. Oh, and there's not a scent of him either. Oh, that's weird. Justin forgot to ask. Katie was in her bedroom when the thud happened. No, she was in the living room. She was in the living room when the thud happened. Clutch them pearls.
Hello, Justin.
Hello, dear.
You are so spot on. I'm telling you.
You know something? I was going to actually text you here in a little bit. I was thinking about you. That's so weird.
Thank you.
I was-
I know. We got that connection. I'm telling you,
We
ride
do.
or die.
We do.
We got that connection.
We do. Yes.
Well, I got to give you a little bit of good news. And this, this poor child, this case, it is just, you can't, I will have an opinion that I think that this is what happened. And then I start doubting my opinion because all this craziness, it is getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, just absolutely ridiculous. And the people that care, like you and other creators and all of your followers, we are invested in Sebastian. We really don't care about the PR person. I don't give two craps about them at all. But I just took a job as a behavioral health associate for children.
Oh my God!
Because these children are going to know that even though they are different, they don't have a thing wrong with them, and they are no less loved than any child in this world. That is my life goal for Sebastian.
Let's give Camille a round of applause. Congratulations, Camille.
Thank you. I just I've seen you do it many a times. There's certain we love all the children. We want all of them to come home, but there's certain cases that just grab you.
Yeah.
Maybe it's childhood traumas that you've been through, or I'm speaking for myself.
Sure.
Or something, and so I just gravitate to Mr. Proudfoot and the way that he treated this child incenses me to no end, and I am going to put a stop to it.
That's right.
Period.
Every day.
These kids are going to know they are so special. I mean, I'm going to be with the lady that we're going to do activities with them, get them working on their social skills, depending on whatever, behavioral problem they have, but they are not bad kids.
No.
That does not make them a bad kid.
No.
And
bad
it's
kid,
just like being,
the saying bad kid, it's just kids acting out for a reason. Everything is a symptom. How we behave is a symptom.
Exactly right.
Of our environment, our conditions, how we feel. So you're gonna do great, girl.
And it's just like with depression and anxiety, we all have that voice in our head, and some people's voice tells them positive things. Some people's voices, that's a scary neighborhood in between those two ears.
Yeah.
To have to listen to.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you.
No.
You can, if somebody can just show you some love and that you matter, you wouldn't believe just that little bit, what that little bit does for people. Just like I'm telling you, the day that you texted me and told me that you were thinking about me happened to be a very, very hard day for me. And I smiled from ear to ear when I got that text. Just that text alone. I wish we could go back to that world where people cared. Everybody cared that much, not just for themselves, but for the people around them.
Well, if you the thing is, if you actually are a servant to others, it actually not only does for them, it does for you as well, right?
Exactly.
People,
Exactly.
the people who are happiest in life are actually servants to
Right.
people, right? To the world.
They give them the shirt off their back. They give them their last $20.
Yes.
But it doesn't matter because they're doing it just not even thinking about, oh, I've got to have that $20 because I'm going to need gas money. It just automatically their mind goes to, I'm giving this so that this child can benefit, or this child can eat today, or whatever. And that's and like you said, that's where I am. I'm dealing with issues with my grown children are being buttholes right now because of the divorce and everything.
Right.
But this is gonna warm. I'm going to save them, and they're going to save me at the same time.
That's right. That's right.
So I wanted to let you know that, and let you know the whole thing that you said about her in this little, about your child missing. The whole dialogue you just had, it is spot on.
Thank
it is
you.
spot on. Anybody that has any sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you well enough to know that if one of the boys was not there, you would call the police immediately, and if they told you you couldn't look, you would be like, bye.
Yeah.
Bye, see ya.
Yeah.
I'm
Bye,
erasing my ass
Felicia.
because I'm going to look for my kid.
Yeah, because that's a natural instinct. It's a natural instinct. And when you go against that,
She's
something's
missing
wrong.
something. Something's wrong.
Yep.
Right.
Mhm.
Something is up.
Yep.
In my opinion, something is up. That's all I'm saying. I don't know what it is. He may be alive somewhere and she may have moved him. I don't know. She may have lost her cool, and I don't know. But something is not right.
That's right.
Just point blank.
That's exactly
But
right.
I love you so much.
I love
Thank
you
you for taking
too.
my call, and I will get with you soon.
That's so funny you
and
called
we'll
it, 'cause
talk.
I was thinking about you. That's
Well,
amazing.
I'm going to do a little bit of traveling, so we may have a chance to meet up
That would be
sometime over
great.
the
That would
summer
be
and
great.
grab a meal.
I'm going to be everywhere this summer, so we'll try to find somewhere. How about that?
Okay. All right. Sounds great.
All right,
and
love.
all you guys, and I will be watching.
Love you, dear. All right.
Love you too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
That's our beloved Camille. I'm going to turn the phone lines off for just a moment so I can get through this. Oh, hold on. I got Bombshell Wells Ply info I got from Camzone. Hold on. Wait a second. We might have some breaking news. Let me check something here. Hold on. I need to make a call, guys. 1 second. Okay, they didn't answer. Damn it. I need to check one more thing. Bear with me, guys. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. Okay. Okay. I'll wait. If I get it, then I'll let you know. That's crazy. But I have this, or I had this on my old car. I just got a new vehicle, but this is the quote that I live by, and I had it a little quote on it. Do all the good you can by all the means you can, in all the ways you can, in all the places you can, at all the times you can, to all the people you can, as long as ever you can. And that's what we should do. Okay. Here we go.
Who started the conversation? The question was asked to the mother. The father took over the conversation, and she mirrored right along with him as to how the messaging was going to get out.
It's like a baby cult, a cult of one.
Well,
kind of
that tells me, yeah, that tells us, you want to separate these two, get them out in separate interview rooms.
Correct.
And you want to find out what kind of abuse she's ever experienced in her life. And you want to go all the way back to when she was a child.
Well, do you want me to discuss that?
I don't know. I don't know the totality of what's in her past or his.
So I leaked the phone call. I told you about this. There was a conversation that was had where there were some threatening things made. I wasn't the only one that had the conversation. It was in reference to Katie's past and the abuse that she suffered at the hands of her own mother at a very young age. She ends up in an orphanage or something along those lines of foster care or something. And that, he was very upset. Chris Ralphit was very upset that this was brought up, but it was something that had been brought up at the very beginning. It's public record. Her mother is, I believe, on a registry, and look, she's a victim in that sense. It's horrible. I can't hold that against anybody. When you're a victim, you're a victim.
So let's build off of that. Don't leave this picture yet, and take a ton of screenshots of this particular positioning right here, because this is telling us a tremendous amount about this case, believe it or not. And this is from years of experience of sitting in that interview room and watching people. Okay. What she is doing is she is telling us in a roundabout way,
listen to this.
I need help. Okay. I need to get, into a place where I can tell you what's going on. Okay. Because she is, you can see it in her, it's almost like, how when a couple's been together,
like Josh and Trev, like we're like the three musketeers for my buddies,
30, 40 years. And you see this old couple, or even 50 years, and you see this wonderful, husband and wife walking down the street. They walk in tandem, both step the same way. He's helping her along, and that's what's going on here. From an investigative aspect, I'm looking at this going, man, I've seen this before. Gary, what's happening in a psychological aspect on this thing?
Well, it's very interesting because what you're picking up on is a kind of perversion of the normal falling into sync that people do when they're happily involved. You can also see that in cult leaders and in domestic violence and things like that, where in an almost adaptive way, you're mimicking and kind of falling in line with the person because it's the easiest way to keep them happy and not have them be dangerous. I've always said that that kind of relationship is like a cult, in small form. I mean, all a cult is a large scale abusive relationship, right? Where the offender chooses to do it to
Katie had a rough childhood. There's no denying that, and you got to have compassion for that. When you're a child, it's not your fault. She certainly
multiple people at the
I
same
mean,
time.
a lot of her family are allegedly
Instead
criminals.
of one partner. And I mean, let's face
I
it.
mean, do you know how rare it is for a woman to be an RSO and be on 99-year probation? Pretty rare.
Right now, we don't know if any of that's going on, but I think it is interesting that there do seem to become some kind of power dynamic. I mean, as another example, he
You're right,
laughed
Mohawk.
when having
Absolutely.
a recollection of the child, and then she did for the first time, had a kind of nervous chuckle, almost like on reflex, and there is that kind of strange quality between them.
Katie does this thing, and it's not I don't think it's a nervous laugh either. She'll be talking about something very serious and she'll giggle and she'll go right back. And it doesn't feel
But
like a nervous
I
laugh.
can't help but
It's like
feel
she's
that
thinking about something.
they look like two people that are acting.
She has
And
no
one
one.
of them is kind of doesn't want to contradict the other, so have to look at each other for leads. It doesn't have the ring of truth. And you know what I'm saying, Chris? It doesn't feel like that moment in an Agatha Christie novel where the detective comes out and explains everything. You go, oh, now it all makes sense. Thanks for clarifying. It feels more like we don't have it. Like the story's not adding up. It doesn't make sense. It bothers me as a logical creature. And it also feels, what bothers me as I'm listening to this is that I don't know how else to say it. It insults my intelligence. The story feels like somebody thinks you'd believe it, and it's ridiculous. It's up there with Koberger's stargazing. It's so ridiculous that I find myself going, what? There's a thud.
And Gary, that's an amazing thought process. And the only thing that wouldn't be in alignment, if she didn't have something in her hands, I think both of her thumbs would be up too.
Thank you, Liplock, for that. An estimated of 80 to 90% of offenders are male, while 10 to 20% of offenders are female. Yes.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But they are like, it's like two actors, it looks like.
Yeah, their arms are aligned. Now, for the average person that's probably watching this and that will probably criticize me, going through there on some other crazy channel, that this is extremely important, whether they want to believe it or not. Okay? This is extremely important. As I said with Don Wells, when I first interviewed Don Wells, I said he will adapt and he will improvise and he will fill in the gaps. And here we are years later, and he has done exactly that. Right up to the point where he was investigated and he tried, getting around that. And he said, well, no, there were only 2 victims. Well, no, there were 3. And we said there were 3. And then he finally admitted, yeah, okay, well.
I will never forget. I've been watching Chris from the interview room since he was a little channel. When he started Suzanne Morphew, and he called Suzanne's husband Barry Morphew. He was a very small channel then, and then we got to Summer Wells, and when he first interviewed Don on the phone, he got off the phone and he said, watch. His story is going to adapt and his story is going to change. And damn if it didn't. Adapted right there. adapted right there. Thank you, sweet Camille. Thank you, my love. Appreciate you. We are blessed to have this place. Please be kind. It isn't hard at all. I love you, sis. Thank you. Thank you, sweetheart. Appreciate you. Thank you, Janice. Oh, thank you, my dear. Appreciate your support. Very kind of you, my dear. And the next interview, Don changed his story. They always fix it, right? They put a little mark on it and they try to fix it. It doesn't, they think it's working out for him, but it really doesn't in the long
but
run.
she doesn't count. Okay? This is the kind of situation.
That's why your first story should be your only story.
Where my fear is they've learned from Dawn on social media potentially, or other situations where the child wasn't found.
The house was very creepy.
They're learning. They're gonna pick
Anybody have an alibi, Chris?
I don't know what.
Let me tell you. So this is what we know. Seth says that he was at work, and by all indications that is the truth, because he is a prison guard and he would be on camera. He was contacted by Chris to tell him that Sebastian had went missing after he got off of work. Chris also claims that he was 3 hours away working on a construction site in Memphis, Tennessee, which is about 3 hours or so. But then there's also this really weird 3-hour phone call apparently between these two, where they were talking on the phone. And if somebody in the chat could help me out from the time, I forget the times, where she started falling asleep on the phone. He tells her to go to bed, and then but there's a 3-hour phone conversation there, which so they say 9 to 12 these two were on the phone. Now, when I said that Chris may not know, this phone conversation, this 3-hour phone conversation, possibly would just put him smack dab in the middle of this too, even if he wasn't there.
Does anyone actually think that Chris is the type of man who willingly wants to sit on the phone with a wife for 3 hours the way Katie swears they do it all the time? I still don't believe it. I don't believe it. Don't believe it. Miss Michelle, thank you so much. Not to be rude, women tend to hide things more often than men. Love you, Justin. I don't know. I think that there's, I don't know about that. See, I feel like women are usually more emotional, more likely to talk about things. And men, they don't have to tell their friends, or something. I don't know. Usually. I don't know. It's interesting.
There's a phone conversation in 3 hours. Sebastian goes to bed at 9. She hears a thud.
Right, Gal?
Then these two are talking on the phone. Because he's out of town and not home, and he spends a lot of time out of town working. Okay, he has a camper and that sort of thing where he's just not home much. He allegedly wasn't home all weekend as well. Now, I don't know.
This is extremely important, what you're saying, because it means if there is a controlling dynamic here and he's not there, then that implies that would have created a window of opportunity to do something that is out of the ordinary, or that he might not have approved of, or something like that. That's a very interesting piece of information, because that dynamic would have been like, a crack of light couldn't break out of it, it seems like. So now he's away and he's talking to her. What is it what opportunity is created? The other thing is, and I want you to explain this because I'm worried the show's going to run out before you get to explain it, is that sometimes I appear on Court TV, and so I'm always monitoring what they have on and if I'm going to be asked to potentially go on. And even though I've been kind of avoiding this case, I do remember hearing the Seth, no, not Seth, what's his name? The father.
Yeah, Katie's not speaking. Katie's not speaking. I believe he's forcing her so nobody can get alone to interview her without him. Yeah.
The father of Sebastian,
Seth Rogers.
He's
yes.
controlling
that
awfully.
The boy's mother.
And the thing is, why? This is what I don't understand. Why would Chris want to control Katie from doing an interview if she is just talking about finding her son? Right? Why? Doesn't make sense. You're just talking about your missing son. So why is he, what's the motive? There has to be a motive for him, in my opinion, to want to control why he doesn't want her to talk. She's definitely the weakest link, but he's afraid she'll screw up. Yes, but would he do that if he was not involved in this theory that we're talking about? Not a fact, a theory. Would he still do that if he wasn't involved? I don't think so either. One thing's for sure, they are not wordsmiths. They are not statesmen. The more they say, the more they will eventually end up in ditch. Oh, Camille, honey, please. You don't have to do that. Camille, thank you. Keep up exactly what you're doing. You started as a creator. I watched and became a dear friend. I love you and your chats. God bless you so much. Oh, thank you, Camille. Thank you so much, my dear. You don't have to do that, though, honey. Thank you. That's very, very kind and generous of you. Thank you, Camille, my dear. I love you to pieces. It's very nice, Camille. Hopefully we can meet this summer sometimes. Guys, I'm going to be a lot of places this summer, so get ready. Get ready. I've already started editing. I'm going to be doing videos on cold cases and cases that are intriguing, but we're also going to be doing celebrities, like a lot of old Hollywood celebrities, kind of like a biography documentary style. So get ready for that. And that's going to be it's going to be interesting. Yes, please drop a like. She's a friend. Yeah. So I know Summer's Army. I know. It's a lot. It's a lot. So if you like Hollywood old glamour, Miss Michelle, I'm usually in Canada in July. So I will probably be in Canada in July. May I request Maya Mility's murder trial is coming in January, please? Of course. Yes. 23 more to 600. Thank you, Camille. Thank you. Why are you not a mod? Okay, let's fix this. 1 second.
in his opinion, was responsible for this. And he told a story on Court TV that when Sebastian was
I would
13,
love to be in
that he was
Barbados.
sexually assaulted by an 8-year-old while in the care of his mother.
Other way around, but yes.
Why
The
was
thir-
8 years old by a 13-year-old?
Correct.
Okay, because I'm going by my memory of this. Okay, so the
Yes.
idea is, and he said, if I remember this correctly, thank you for the correction, is that he felt that in some vague way, the mother must have had something to do with it, because in his mind she had that history of kind of not keeping an eye on him and whatever. Now, Chris, wouldn't you agree that if you had a child that had that happen to him, you would be exaggeratedly sensitive to every little noise and every little concern and every little thing? It doesn't jive, right? In that it gets my Judge Judy, my internal Judge Judy going, where, she goes like, it doesn't make sense. It's not true. Well, it doesn't make any sense. What do you think about that point, Chris, now that we've mentioned that little tidbit?
Well, this goes back to that thought, that we were just talking about we want to go back into her history and find out what the totality of that is. And if there was an event that is
Nobody. What would you do if law enforcement said you can't search? Or you shouldn't, or you're not hanging up flyers, or you're not doing interviews with at least big media, Vancouver's my favorite city in the world, by the way. It's my favorite city in the world that I've been to. Search anyway. I would too. Yep.
is as drastic as that,
Yeah.
then you
Exactly.
would
Wouldn't even
expect
be a question.
this other
Thank
side
you,
of her
Summers.
to come out that is much
Glad
more
you did.
protective
Thank you.
than anything you've ever seen.
Exactly,
I mean,
Robert. Search anyway. That's what you
we all
do.
know what if a child gets molested or injured or
Let me tell you something. 1-800 here. She has been. I don't think she minds because she's told her story. I think it was her granddaughter went missing for several days, and let me tell you something. She was a badass. She was like literally kicking ass and taking names is what she was doing. And that's what a mother does. That's what a father does. You become Superman or Superwoman when someone tries to do that with, right? Like your kids could be in harm's way, right? Grandson, 13 days. Today he is my adopted son. There we go. Right? Like kicking ass and taking names. You're welcome, Rach. Nobody. Exactly. Val, they say that they are. However, I can guarantee you, if they were handing out flyers, as many people that know them would have taken a picture by now. So I have not seen a photo of them hanging up a flyer at all.
or whatever, and that victim is going through this healing, which will never heal because that will be with that child for the rest of their life. But I've noticed the mothers become, there's a terminology of, helicopter parent for a reason. That parent that.
Did you see the video where Katie hit Chris on the leg when they were talking about far Seth lived away. Was it this interview right here? Summer's Army?
And is hyperactive at every sport event, every public event, every church event, every event. Moms are looking over like, where's my cub? Where's my cub?
Absolutely. It doesn't dive, Chris.
Yeah, right, Gary. And
Doesn't dive.
She elbows him, yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that she says at 10 o'clock, I hear a thud. Is that what you called it, Josh? Thud?
Yes, thud.
Okay. And she's on the phone. Is she on the phone when she hears this thud?
Yes. I mean, she doesn't say that from what I know, but she heard it during the time that she would have been on the phone. Yes.
Yeah, well, she said she was on the phone. Well, they were on the phone 3 hours from 9 till midnight. So at 9 o'clock, Sebastian goes to bed. 10 o'clock is when the thud sound. So that's when she said, Bubba, are you okay? Yes, ma'am. All right, go to bed. Or I don't care what you're doing in there. Go to sleep. Depends which story or which interview. So she would have had to been on the phone studying. What else did she say? Sleeping, and also hearing that, which had to be quite loud for all that shit to be going on, and also hear that and speak to Sebastian. Got it. Sure.
Okay. And what happens when she hears the thud?
She just tells him to go back to bed or knock it off, go to bed.
Like calls upstairs or something?
Or wherever he was. Yeah. Or across the house or whatever. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Great point. I've never heard anyone say that, Casey. I would call I've heard the 911 part first, but then my child's father first. I'd have call the jail for Seth. Yes. Not a text that says, please don't be mad, which I've talked about before. Please don't be mad, or please don't be upset. Please don't be upset. Well, of course you're going to be upset. Your child's missing. Duh.
But she doesn't get up to investigate.
You would have called their work. But in my opinion, they wanted, since they didn't get a hold of him or they just text him, they wanted him to not know for as long as possible, I guess.
Investigate the thud.
No. No.
Okay. All right.
And
I'm
she
just going to categorize that.
She has her own history of being taken advantage
Abused.
of.
Yes. Correct.
Chris, that also is odd. You know what I mean? You would think you'd be exaggeratedly sensitive. I mean, unless she's like completely dissociated or something, but which can happen. But it's all very odd. The other thing that I don't understand is, are they sure that it was a 13-year-old that abused him? That wasn't a cover story for someone else abusing him?
I don't know. I mean, it seemed like they kind of all agreed on the circumstances, but that the disagreement was that he didn't receive the proper care and treatment after it happened, and that he wasn't seeing the right psychologist, I guess, or type of psychologist.
Chris, don't you think that's an interesting question?
You know, I'm just going to put another flag on it.
Yeah, another pin in it. Yeah.
Yeah, another pin. And I don't know how many we got yet, but Josh, is this the video you told me about where he went off?
No.
We watched this one before. Have I watched this one?
Yeah, we watched this one before. This is their very first interview that they did. By the way, Dr. Gary, this is 9 days after Sebastian is missing, their first sit down.
Well, the first time, Keep Grinding Up says, thud seems very descriptive. First, she said she heard a sound. Then later, she changed it to a thud. She said she heard a sound. And then she said that, what did she say? She said, oh, it just sounded like he was in there, messing around. Have a cold coffee on me, friend. Oh, thank you, my dear. Thank you. So sweet of you. Thank you. Camille, I'll look up Leah. I just looked it up. She's a 13-year-old that went missing after Hurricane Andrew.
Public plea.
That's
You make anything of that?
No, I just think it's very interesting. I mean, the other thing I would definitely want to know about is if they're in this state of
Yes,
horror,
Michelle,
being
I
afraid
have.
about this child.
Yes.
Typically, what happens with parents like that is they don't leave the house. They don't function. They don't. Did they do things that were suspicious for people that were supposedly overwhelmed emotionally? Like, did they go on a cruise or not hang around?
Yeah, they said he didn't sleep much at all. First time he went to bed at no problem. I don't see a 15-year-old going to bed at 9 o'clock. Not unless he was given medicine or was extraordinarily exhausted, which it said he never did sleep good to begin with. He said he didn't matter. Said it didn't matter if he ran a marathon, he could still just sleep 3 hours or something. And that's all he needed.
Down during the searches or do anything like that. It was a little inconsistent with being in a state of terror.
Well, let's finish listening to this, and then you stop me when you want. Also, I want to get to the.
I'm going to take that for a yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And he is just on it, and he is all about it.
But I mean, he's very smart.
He's
I mean,
smart.
he can play chess. He can beat adults in chess.
Wow.
So
He loves playing games.
What about navigation?
I've wondered that. I've wondered if Seth really knew who was it that did that. Was it really a 13-year-old or what? Who knows?
Did he have a sense of direction? Do you think he could have possibly even hitched a ride or gotten a ride on a bus or some sort of transportation?
that is a speculation.
You see, I can see that. I can see a 9 to 6 for someone younger than that. Maybe even a teenager. Most teenagers don't go to bed at 15 at 9 o'clock. But she said he didn't sleep more than 3 or 4 hours at a time.
I have an answer for him. Just directionally, he knows he could guide you from our house to his dad's house.
Yeah.
He could get this house. I think he can make it up to Culver's ice cream.
He can go to Culver's.
Well, that boy loves
He
a
knows
malt.
where Culver's is because Culver's has malt. He loves malt, extra malt. Every time.
Well,
Extra
I have a
malt.
question. Let's stop.
Yeah.
When was he diagnosed with autism?
I believe he was 13.
Okay. Was he able to navigate to school and everything up to the age of 12?
That I don't know.
Okay. I mean, this seems like a big deal that he could go up to Culver's. That's a little overemphasis.
Yeah, I noticed that too. And the very happy, he loves malt, the extra malt, just kind of, I don't know, random sort of details. But Dr. Gary, you've said this before. Is this because the final day that Sebastian
The malt thing, I didn't even know what malt was until you guys
was
told me.
with Katie, they made it seem
I
like
mean, I
he
knew
had
what,
the
malt,
greatest day ever,
the
just a
chocolate
wonderful
balls was.
day out with mom, went to dinner, was around family. They did this, they did that.
Very
Almost,
typical in cover stories.
yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking too. Because you remember in the Summer Wells case, they were planting flowers and they were just having a good old
Meanwhile,
time.
Summer Wells' backyard looked like a bomb test site.
Yeah, it looked like
1-800. Actually, I think the opposite of that. I think Katie will not talk or will not speak with Seth because he was with her. They have a child together, and I think she knows she can't bullshit Seth, and that's why she won't speak to him.
Coca Flats, you know, after they blast it, you know, to test it, and they tried to say that it was like Disneyland, you know. But do you ever see that place? It's like a dungeon
Not an ice
in
cream
the center
lady.
of a exploded. It's the most
That's
ridiculous story I've ever heard. I love when people lack empathy and they can't feel that you could tell they're full of crap. It's one of my favorite things.
Her eyes are closed.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting. That's true, Chris. Some of these little observations of their body language are very interesting, but they are
Me too.
amazingly mirroring each other. It's fascinating.
Me too, Kim.
It's a fascinating truth that you pointed out. But they do talk about him in the present tense as if he's still alive.
Mhm.
They say, oh, he likes this, he whatever. In other words, there's no assumption on their part that he may be dead, or at least they're going out of their way to emphasize they don't know him to be. Let's put it
Correct.
that.
Yes.
Although after 9 days, I'm sure somebody would have said,
Why are they so red? You want to know my honest opinion? I think it's alcohol.
you know, I would be bracing myself because chances are, I mean, if the kid is on foot, Chris, how many miles could this kid have walked?
Well, with shoes, a long way, but he didn't have shoes.
Shoes. I mean, dogs or whatever would be looking in a you know, you're talking about a radius of what, mile or two?
Yeah, miles. Yeah, 5 miles,
Doesn't
3 to
make
5
any
miles.
sense, you know, and so
Depending when he left. I mean, you know, if he left at 6 and they called the police at 7, or you know, did he leave or was he taken or at, you know, earlier in the day or possibly Sunday evening, because you have that 9 to 12 phone.
Mods, Little Bear Paws is late. Mods, Little Bear Paws is late. Little Bear Paws to the office, please. Little Bear Paws to the office, please. Late. My God, what is wrong with you?
Phone call. So
Okay.
Getting Little Bear Paws.
Time out. I love you, Josh. You know that.
No.
This is your show.
No.
Okay. How many abductors, right? How many abductors go, you know what? I think I'll just drive around the neighborhood here and see if there's a 15-year-old sound asleep in the house. And, you know, I'll just take a random.
I think it was Mohawk that said this, and I never thought of this. I think he said it in Josh's room. That their drive that they live on is a cul-de-sac, a dead-end road, which is very similar in Summer's case too. Like, you know, they say Summer was abducted. I don't think Summer was abducted more than the man in the moon. But I thought that was interesting as well. Both of their roads are dead-end roads. Yeah, I said it was a dead-end road. I never even, I mean, I knew it was a dead-end road, but I never put the two together. And I thought that's very interesting because I do not believe for a second, in my opinion, that Sebastian was abducted. I don't think so, in my opinion, at least. What makes it odd, Sebastian has a private bathroom. The interview they had with Chronicles of Olivia, or the one before, that there was 5th of Crown Royal and a wine rack. Yeah. A lot of people noticed that the wine and the 5th of, I think. And you know, some people change so much when they drink alcohol, right? It can be like the quietest person, and when they drink alcohol, they get real mean, or they get real talkative, or they just completely, it's like day and night. So sometimes alcohol brings out a beast, or brings out something really bad in a person that may not normally be. When I drink, I get quiet. My friends always said, Justin, don't drink. You're way funner sober. I have not had a drink, and I couldn't tell you when.
I'm shot at
Not a
it.
drinker.
Hey, I'm in the house.
Yeah, that's a ridiculous.
Ding dong. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I'm not going to ring the bell. I'm just going to somehow hope that the young man knows it's me. And so he goes to the side of the house. Boom, boom, boom. Big thump. 10 o'clock. Hey, it's me. Let's go. Come on. Don't put your shoes on, whatever you do. Okay? Because, we're just going to Culver's at, what time is it? 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m. Pick a number. Okay? Just pick any number. Okay? Put it on your bingo card and say bingo. Okay? Because that will be the number that would be possibly correct. And now just disappear. And he just evaporates from the wind.
And no traces, no DNA, no fingerprints, no nothing. No indication of a break-in, no indication of going to it, nothing. Completely right.
I was on the phone. Hey, just to let you know, Sebastian's gone. How do you know? I heard a thump. What time did you hear the thump? 10 o'clock last night. Okay, well, I'll be home at 7 in the morning and we'll go look for him. Okie dokie. See you at 7.
Exactly, Chris.
Click. Okay. Do you see how ridiculous this sounds?
It's ridiculous. I agree with you. The whole thing is completely ridiculous.
Yeah, without a flag.
So that's why I think it's so.
And that's exactly what I'm saying. People with a brain and a brain stem that sparks knows that something is not right here. You have to know that something is wrong. Something is wrong. Listen, if you walk out barefooted or with socks on, there's going to be a scent. A good scent, because your feet are flat to the earth, right? Shoes keeps your feet from touching the earth, and there's still a scent. So there's that. Guys, I've been on here for quite a while. I'm going to end it here. I've got some things to do. I will be back later this evening, either on this channel, Clutch Them Pearls. I won't be on J4A this evening, probably. I'll either be on Clutch Them Pearls or Hey Sweet Tea. It'll be later tonight, probably after the lab. After the lab tonight. Make sure you set your reminder to the lab. He's going to be live, I think, at 7 Eastern, 2 more hours. So make sure you don't miss that. It will be awesome, I'm sure. Thank you all so much for joining me. I really do appreciate your time. Thank you so much, truly. You could have chosen to be anywhere. You have plenty of options while you're on YouTube, and it doesn't go unnoticed by me. Truly, thank you for your time. Thank you for being here for Sebastian and all of these missing children. I love you all. I'll see you guys later tonight sometimes. All right, guys. Loves. Bye-bye.